First things first, you want to grab the two bags that two of you should be carrying in a 3-man team and assemble them together to create the actual mortar tube. Next, you want to mark your position on the map for your future calculations, as well as let friendlies know not to shoot you. Scroll wheel to get into the tube, and right-click to zoom in into the optic. To the right and to the top, you have the AZ azimuth. That is the direction that the tube is pointing and where your rounds will go. Now at 0000, that is direct north. And at 3200, you have direct south. And the numbers go all the way up to 6399. Next is the elevation. That is how high the gun will be pointing. Low elevation means close to the ground. High elevation means high into the sky. The elevation numbers are to the right and to the bottom of the screen. Now, the actual optic itself does not matter. What matters are these numbers. Ignore the camera view. In the meantime, your assistant should be getting ready to load ammunition into your tube. This is going to be a manual process. There's no R to reload for this, so your assistant's going to go to the crate and load in a bunch of ammunition into his bag. You're going to go back to your gun and load them to the tip, like so. However, until you receive a fire mission, you should unload the ammunition to prevent any sort of accidental fires.
Mortar accidentally fired. Get out. Mortar accidentally fired. Bearing 223. 223 to structure.
Well, that was not right.
Mortar, be advised your rogue round impacted.
Right, so obviously we want to avoid that. So let's test fire this. We have friendlies to the south. They are engaging a major, what they report to be an enemy tank. As you can see here, extremely dangerous. Big gun go boom. And it's only up to us with their mortar to destroy them. So, assuming that they actually put down an accurate marker, we can use something called a map tool in our inventory to get azimuth to the position and the range. So, what you're going to do is going to self-interact and select the map tool. Believe it or not, this is the small map tool. This is usually sufficient for these sort of close-range engagements. And so you want to align the middle dot right onto your position, which you should have marked on the map. And then align the little line using the Alt left-click right onto the target. Right there. And so, basically, yeah, just get right in between. So, remember what I said earlier about the azimuths going from 0 to 6400? So, you can see in the white area. So, like 800, 1000, 1200, 1400, 1600, all the way down to 2000, aka 2000. And you can see that the indicator is in between 20 and 21. So, we can say it's, right now, the azimuth is 20, the first two digits. Now, the next two digits are what is the basically increment in between 20 and 21. And you can see that there are five spaces in between. It goes from 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way up to 21. And you can see that is slightly in between the 6 and the 8 mark. So, we can just go ahead and say it is 7. So, 7, 0. If it's in between further, it goes 7, 5, 7, 6. But this is usually just good enough. So, let's hit OK. Now, let's get into the mortar tube and align ourselves to the correct azimuth. Let's head on over, face towards them. 2, 0, 7, 0, right here. So now we need to figure out how high the elevation that we must aim the tube of our mortar to be able to hit the target correctly. So to do this, we need to drag the little small map tool over to show the centimeter length markings. Now, you can start at the 10 mark, but I personally prefer to start at the 0 mark. So just line it up like this. Each indicator is 100 meters, so 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, etc., etc. So that's 500, right close to 600 meters, but not quite. Let's adjust a tiny bit. There we go. So about, yeah, in between, very close to the 600 meter mark in terms of range. Now, we start at 5. There are 10 markings. So we go all the way up and we count up to 9. So it's about 590. Write that down somewhere or on the map. Open up your self-interact, go to equipment, and select the 82mm range table. I'm pretty sure you can also use the Mk6 range table. I'm pretty sure there's like no difference. Let me see. Yeah, there's no difference. Yeah, okay, the same. Yeah, so but just stick to the 82 millimeter. I guess that's more consistent. Now, you might be wondering, on the right, high and low. Do not bother with low. Choose high all the time. Now, what are the charges? So, to keep things simple, think of charges as like boosters to the actual shell. Charge 1 adds 1 booster, charge 2 adds 2 boosters. So you can have the shell go even further than usual. With charge 0, it goes up to almost 500 meters, charge 1 goes up to almost 2,000, and charge 2 goes over 4,000 meters, right? Yes. So you can see what kind of distances now vary. Now, you usually want to choose the lowest charge possible because the more charges you add, increase the time of flight. And right now, our guy's getting shot by that so-called tank back there, so you really want to make the shells hit ASAP. With a range of 590, it is beyond charge 0's capabilities, so let's go for charge 1. Now, 590 is 90% of the way in between 500 and 600. Okay? And so we can use the associated elevation values in our calculations. For 500, this elevation value is 1471, and for 600 meters, this elevation value is 1445. Now, if we subtract the two, we will get a value of 26. Now, 590, as stated before, is 90% of the way in between these two ranges. So 90% of 26, a calculator would be helpful here, is around 23.4. Now, we need to apply 23.4 to one of these numbers, either applying it to 1471 or applying it to 1445. Now, keep in mind that for this instance, as the range increases from 500 to 600, the elevation is decreasing from 1471 to 1445. So, we subtract 23.4 from 1471, and we get 1447.6. We can round this up to 1448, and that is the elevation we need to set our border tube to. So let's get in. I wrote everything down on the map, azimuth, range, and elevation. So let's set the elevation correctly, all the way up. Yep, 1448. Or 7. Alright. Now, set the azimuth correctly. There we go. 2070. And now we are ready to fire. Now, keep in mind the time of flight. So for us, charge 1, the time of flight is around 20 seconds. And as you can see, over here, the delta elevation per 100 meters and the time of flight per 100 meters. The delta elevation is how much you need to increment or decrement based on differences in elevation. So say we're shooting at like a mountain or something, obviously we need to make some adjustments for that. But for this case, for this demonstration, we're in a very flat field, and so we don't need to worry about that. Just stick with the elevation. Oh, and by the way, yeah, set the charge with F. You know, charge 1 is medium. That's right there. Alright, so now we need to actually load the tube. Alright, so yeah, if your assistant is still alive and has been killed already, have them load the tube. Alright, and then you're going to go in and you're just going to like just pull the trigger. Boom. I highly suggest moving your mouse, keep your mouse away from the mouse pad so you don't accidentally make adjustments while firing. Just keep your hand on the trigger and the mouse off the mouse pad. So yeah, just keep on firing. I have a timer up in the corner so you guys can check the time of flight, but it should be landing at 20 seconds. Let's stop a few rounds. By the way, yeah, your fire team leader will be telling you how many rounds you need to send. You know, 8 times, high explosive, or saturate the area, or something like that. Alright. And so, there's an impact. It's a bit of a miss. Yeah, there's quite a bit of leeway. Even if you have everything 100% perfect, you know, RNG ultimately decides how accurate it will be. And yeah, I think we have a few more rounds left. I think one more after this. Come on. There we go. Boom. Tank destroyed. Alright, and there we go. That's how you use the Mk6 mortar. But most of the mortars work the same way.